Purvashramathil, born and brought up in Madras. Schooling, college எல்லாமே சென்னையில் தான். தமிழ் மீடியம் ஸ்கூலில் தான் படித்தேன். அப்புறம் அவரும் நம்மளோட போட்டிக்கு வர்றார். பிரசிடென்சி காலேஜில் பிஏ ஆனர்ஸ் எக்கனாமிக்ஸ் பண்ணினேன். அதுக்கப்புறம் மை ஃபாதர் வாண்டட் மீ டு அட்டெம்ப்ட் திஸ் எக்ஸாம், ஐஏஎஸ் எக்ஸாம். அதில் எழுதினேன். எழுதிட்டு I got selected for central services. அஃப்கோர்ஸ் அதுக்கு முன்னே 2-3 இடத்துல வேலை பார்த்தேன். அப்போது 1961 சென்சஸ் எடுத்தப்போ ஐ வாஸ் பார்ட் ஆஃப் த சென்சஸ் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட். அதுலேயும் 1963 I got selected for this IAS at the central services. In the central services, they selected me for Indian Revenue Service. Of course, I didn't know anything at all about what it was all about, except that I knew that people paid taxes. And one of my father's friends who came here when I was filling up the form, he asked me my priorities for central services. அப்போது வந்து நான் சொன்னேன், எனக்கு தெரியாது, எல்லோரும் ஆடிட் அண்ட் அக்கௌண்ட் சர்வீஸ் தான் பெஸ்ட்டுன்னு சொல்லிகிட்டு இருக்கா, அதனால் அதை தான் போட போகிறேன். இல்லைங்க, அதெல்லாம் இல்லைங்க, இந்தியன் ரெவென்யூ சர்வீஸ் தான் பெஸ்ட்டு. இந்தியன் ரெவென்யூ சர்வீஸ்னால் என்னன்னு கேட்டேன். இந்த இன்கம் டேக்ஸ் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் அல்லது கஸ்டம்ஸு, அதில் தான் வந்து யூ வில் பி ஏபிள் டு. அது ரொம்ப பவர்ஃபுல் போஸ்ட்டு. பீப்புள் டோன்ட் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் வாட் அ பவர்ஃபுல் போஸ்ட் இட் இஸ், அண்ட் யூ மஸ்ட் புட் தட் அஸ் யுவர் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ப்ரையாரிட்டி அப்படின்னு அவர் சொன்னார். அப்பாவை கேட்டால் அப்பாவும் சரி போடு அப்படின்ட்டார். அது தட் இஸ் ஹவ் ஐ எண்டட் அப் இன் த இன்கம் டேக்ஸ் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட். ஸோ தெர் இஸ் no conscious choice, but since I had put that as my first choice, I guess I got selected for that. Of course, ஒரு 30 வருஷம் இந்த டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்டில் காலம் தள்ளியிருக்கேன். அப்போது 1987 Devaki Ma told me about Yogi Ramsuratkumar. Of course, அப்போ வந்து தேவகி மா இல்லை, she was a lecturer in the Sri Sharada College, Salem. That is where I had met her. Somehow our friendship survived for several years. She used to write to me about the spiritual men that she had met and her experiences. She used to travel all over the place in order to meet them. அதனால் எனக்கு அதெல்லாம் பற்றி எழுதிட்டு இருப்பாங்க. After she met Yogi Ramsuratkumar, she told me, this is the final thing, this is the biggest thing, இதுதான் இருக்கிறதுலையே பெருசு, யூ மஸ்ட் கம் அண்ட் மீட் ஹிம் அப்படின்ட்டு சொல்லிகிட்டே இருந்தாங்க. நான் சொன்னேன், அஃப்கோர்ஸ் ஐ ஹேட் ஃபெய்த் இன் காட் அண்ட் ஆல் தேட், பட் ஐ ஆல்சோ வாஸ் வெரி மச் ஆஃப் த ஒப்பீனியன் தட் God knows what to do with us and that we should not trouble him with our prayers. This was something I was very sure about, அண்ட் ஏதாவது கோவிலுக்கு போனாலும் ஏதாவது ஸ்லோகம் சொல்லிட்டு பாடிட்டு வந்துடுவேனே தவிர ஐ நெவர் மேட் எனி ஸ்பெசிஃபிக் ப்ரேயர்ஸ் அஸ் சச், பிகாஸ் ஐ தாட் தட் whatever was needed for us will be given by God, and that we don't have to make any specific prayers. நாம் தொந்தரவு பண்ணக்கூடாது அப்படின்னு தான் நினச்சிட்டு இருந்தேன். Incidentally, Bhagwan confirmed this at a later date, this attitude of not asking specifically for anything. That's a different matter. I'll come to that later. அதனால் ஃபெய்த் இருந்தாலும், எனக்கு காடில் ஃபெய்த் இருந்தாலும், ஐ நெவர் பிலீவ்ட் இன் வரியிங் ஹிம் அபவுட் எனிதிங். அண்ட் ஐ தாட் ஐ ஷுட் நாட் வரி தீஸ் பீப்புள் ஆல்சோ, தி ஸ்பிரிச்சுவல் பீப்புள் ஆல்சோ. The second thing that prevented me from going to him immediately was I had a very low opinion of all these so-called godmen at that time. எனக்கு ஏன் இந்த மாதிரி ரொம்ப லோ ஒப்பீனியன்னா, இந்த கோர்ஸ் ஆஃப் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்ஸ் இன்வெஸ்டிகேஷன்ஸ் வி ஃபவுண்ட் டூ மெனி ஃப்ராட்ஸ். ஸோ அதனால் முக்கால்வாசி பேர் எனக்கு இதுவே கிடையாது, நல்ல அபிப்பிராயமே கிடையாது. வித் த எக்ஸப்ஷன் ஆஃப் காஞ்சி பரமாச்சாரியா அண்டு சத்ய சாய் பாபா. ரெண்டு பேரும் டோட்டலி செல்ஃப்லெஸ் அண்ட் டோட்டலி காட் ட்ரிவன். எனக்கு அது மாதிரி ஒரு இம்ப்ரெஷன் பதிவாக இருந்தது. மற்றவ யாரும் நம்புறதுக்கு முடியாது என்ற மாதிரி ஒரு they were merely trying to exploit the ignorance of peopleன்னு அப்போது எனக்கு ஒரு அபிப்பிராயம் இருந்தது. அதனால் I didn't want to go anywhere near the so-called godmen. So of course I had some wonderful experiences when I met Satya Sai Baba. This was should I tell you about it? 1986 of course I was having lunch with my colleagues, and as usual our topics used to range from anything to anything, and they told me that they told me several interesting things about Satya Sai Baba, and said how he was the ultimate in spiritual matters and all that. So I told them very happily, your Satya Sai Baba came in my dream last night, and all of them got very excited, because according to them Satya Sai Baba does not come in your dream unless he wants it. This was very interesting. I mean, of course I didn't quite believe it, but this was their belief. And so of course after having met Bhagwan, I know that anything is possible, and for a person of Satya Sai Baba's stature, anything is possible. That was a later development, but at that time of course I didn't believe it. Then they went on saying, you must go and meet him, you must go and have his darshan. That means that he has got some work for you, you must go and have his darshan. So I said, I'll go and have his darshan when I go to Anantapur, because my jurisdiction was Andhra Pradesh, and I said when I go to Anantapur I'll go and meet Satya Sai Baba. ஸோ அனந்தபூருக்கு போனேன் அங்கே இருக்கிற ஸ்டாஃப் கிட்ட சொன்னேன், ஐ வுட் லைக் டு மீட். தென் தே ஆல் காட் வெரி எக்ஸைட்டட், அண்ட் தே வெண்ட் அபவுட் மேக்கிங் அரேஞ்ச்மெண்ட்ஸ், அண்ட் தென் தே ஃபவுண்ட் கேம் அண்ட் downhearted, they came and told me, Madam, Satya Sai Baba has gone to Ooty, he is not available here. So I said very cheerfully, it doesn't matter, when I come next time I'll meet him, because it was a very low priority thing. But of course I didn't understand any of these things in those days. So the next time I went there, these people had it all chalked out. They had made an appointment with Satya Sai Baba's ashram, and They had made arrangements for me to travel. All those things had been taken care of by them. And so when I went to meet Satya Sai Baba, I was asked to, I don't know what Puttaparthi Ashram looks like now, but at that time, a vast, extensive field, and there was a kind of mandapam where all of us were asked to go and assemble. All of us means what they considered as VIPs. People like High Court judges, big officials, all those people were there. I was also asked to go and join them, and I joined them. And then one by one we were all called. Somebody used to come and call, and so we used to go. And when my turn came, I also went there. That was the most remarkable meeting that I had. We had to walk a little distance and then go and approach a room. And even when I was approaching the room, Satya Sai Baba came out and he said, "Vijayalakshmi Garu," and I was absolutely floored because it was something which I had never experienced before. There is a totality of all-enveloping love. Unless you experience it yourself, you won't understand it. This was what I was overwhelmed. I never knew that such a thing could exist. See, all of us have tasted mother's love, and we know how unselfish and caring and adoring it is, because you are her child. And according to her, you are very precious. So we have all felt it. Maybe not on a continuous basis, but certainly at times we have felt it. And this was something multiplied by 1,000,000 times. That was the kind of love that I felt flowing from him to me. So this was something overwhelming. Then of course I went inside the room and then sat down, and then he was speaking mostly in Telugu, and occasionally he used to shoot a question at me in English, and I used to answer that. And then he told me, "I want you to stay here for 3 days." This was on Saturday. On Sunday, sorry, because we were working 6 days a week in those days. So this was on Sunday. I said, "I'm sorry, I cannot do that. I have to get back to Hyderabad for my work." And then he said, "One day?" I said, "I have posted cases for hearing tomorrow, so..." So he kind of dismissed me. Of course, he was asking me questions and I was answering and all that sort of thing. Later on, I understood what a significant thing it was, and he would not normally ask everybody to stay, only some people, and that meant that he had something for me and I had to receive it, and I very foolishly rejected this and came away. Of course, later on, now I understand that he would have worked on me at a spiritual level had I continued there. Of course, when I'm destined to be worked on by Yogi Ramsuratkumar, no chance for Satya Sai Baba. So this was the remarkable experience that I had with Satya Sai Baba. And of course, I met Kanchi Paramacharya also 2 or 3 times, and every time he was extraordinarily kind to me. Just a few words, but very... and of course, you can't go anywhere near him like you can with our Bhagwan or Satya Sai Baba. You have to maintain a distance. Our ஒரு 15 அடி தள்ளி தான் ஆளெல்லாம் பார்ப்பார். Because he didn't... I mean, probably many auras were very disturbing. I mean, now I understand that it must have been like that, and he must have kept his distance so that his aura and his influence could reach, but not the negative things that we were carrying. I mean, now I understand all those things, but in those days I did not understand. Of course, there was also always a safe distance, about 10 or 15 feet from where he sat. But these were the only two persons whom I felt were really spiritual giants, and I did not really have any regard for anybody else. And those were the circumstances under which Devaki urged me to go and see him. Of course, she didn't take no for an answer. She persisted in asking me to go and see him. Now I understand that it is not Devaki, but it was Bhagavan himself. Because this is something which we fail to understand. Because that kind of persistence on somebody's part, especially when I was being very rude and very unconcerned about the kind of thing which was going to become the center of my life. I didn't understand that, and naturally I rejected that, and I kept telling her I don't want to waste his time. I'm a very ordinary person. I don't want to waste his time. You believe in spirit, you believe in realizing God and all that, so that's right for you. It's not for me. And but then she persisted, and one day I agreed. I had come down from Hyderabad, and then this will come to your